Sometimes, my obsession with using random items didn't lead anywhere. I didn't want to interfere with his job. He was still an armed man. Was it really worth it? I thought it was better. I could have used the tin to collect some meat, but I wasn't that desperate. The maid had mentioned a bleeding heart materializing out of nowhere. Maybe there was a fresh heart in there. I had to ask Antoine. Hey, Chef, you don't have a spare heart, do you?
They constantly ask for them. Those aristocratic pigs. You can find a bucket full of them near the entrance door.
To be honest, it's for personal use.
I knew immediately I'd hired a beginner, but I'd hope you had at least a little taste.
I am full of taste. I am
You're a runt, that's what you are.
Stop interrupting my official presentation. I perfected it over years.
Listen, Ant. Fresh hearts are really expensive, and I surely won't waste one of them on a kitchen boy.
Okay, I get the message. What do I have to do to get that heart?
Now we're talking. I need some special number 5 meatballs, cooked with the recipe you can find on that counter over there. I'll need them in large quantities for tonight, so try to hurry.
The preparation seemed elementary, but the ingredients would be a problem. Florida ginger. I have no idea what that is.
It's a root, but I don't know its shape. Normally, my supplier delivers it already grated.
And the other ingredients? Don't we have any of them already?
You can find salt and pepper on your workstation. For the rest, you need to make do yourself. Ever since I threw that cleaver at him, my supplier has disappeared. Oh, and be careful with the exotic meat. It must have a fresh new taste, something never tried before. These aristocrats become more and more demanding.
Can I take that Parmesan from the shelf up there at least?
No, it's only the crust. I keep it there to lure out those damn rats that plague West Miami.
Tell me about it. I've also had my share of headaches with those little pests in my place. So I'd find salt and pepper right on the workstation. Considering the sophisticated nature of some of these ingredients, the Mulzberg residence seemed like a promising place to start. I never... The cook demanded exotic meat with a taste never tried before. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that one satisfied both requirements. I couldn't pick it up with my bare hands, though. The cook demanded I didn't know if the hen was Sicilian or not. Maybe the gardener could help me. Hello, good man.
Yes?
Have you got any of these ingredients?
Incredible! This seems like the recipe for meatballs my mother used to make.
What nonsense. These are needed to create powder to help detect fingerprints at the crime scene.
Huh, a PDO egg. That's curious. Our Betsy is a purebred. A Sicilian hen, to be precise.
But that's exactly the quality I need. Can I take one egg?
I don't think it would be a problem, but I must warn you. That hen is a little surly.
And can you tell me anything about the Florida ginger?
I can't help you there, sorry.
Aren't you the gardener?
Confidentially speaking, I'm not exactly an expert botanist. Mr. Mulzberg took it for granted after he saw my topiaries and hired me.
In short, you're totally useless. Stick around. I was suddenly hungry for broth. I was... Was it really worth it? I didn't understand. A harsh looking... Apparently it was... I was all out of... I was all... There were the green. The gardener had done it. The cart contained many products for house cleaning. Liquid soap, detergents, various sprays. The cart con... If I asked you for some ingredients, could you help me?
Lo siento mucho. I don't deal with the kitchen myself. The vintage wine, though. Senor Mulzberg has always some bottles, but he does not keep them in the mansion.
Do you know where he stores them?
Unfortunately, no. But you know who you should ask? The gardener.
The gardener has vintage wine?
Actually, he shouldn't. As a matter of fact, he will never confess to you. The point is that le gusta beber, so from time to time he nicks a bottle from el señor and hides it in the shed at the back.
In the shed, you said? Huh, good to know.
Oh, but he'll never let you in. He keeps the keys on his belt and guards them as if they fueran part of his body.
Don't worry, I have no intention of wasting time asking. So the wine is in the shed out back?
Yes, senor, but as I said, the gardener will never give you the keys.
I agree, not deliberately at least. Let's make this...
Si puedo...
There were the keys to the shed, hanging from the belt of the gardener. Asking him would be useless, given that they were covering up his little crime. The only solution was to try lifting them from him. There was an obstacle, though. The huge brim of his hat blocked my view. Maybe if I made him bend over... The key exchange? Nah. First of all, I couldn't reach his keys. Besides, the ones I had might still be helpful to me. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't see a good reason to do that. I wondered if I might need them to make the gardener bend over. Hello, good man.
Yes?
Let's talk about vintage wine.
Vintage wine? Never seen, never heard, and in fact, I'm a teetotaler.
Such a guilty conscience. Lupe was right. I would never get him to talk. Never mind. The keys were my target. Stick around. Those keys would give me access to the problem was the gardener's giant hat that partly covered the keys, preventing me from discreetly pulling them off his belt. Maybe if I pushed the gardener over... Hello, good man. Stick around. I thought it was better to look for another... In that moment... Was it really worth... The key exchange? The hatch didn't want to stay down. The spring was defective and tended to pop the hatch back up into its original position. I could use the lock that caused me a big problem earlier to solve another. Now, bite me if you can, you fiendish hen. One more egg for me, one less for you, Featherbrain. Yet I didn't feel like leaving the diabolical creature locked up. I've always been a fan of personal freedom. With Ramos, it had proven to be a good plan, so why not?
What's happening to my pile of leaves?
Now that the gardener was bent over, I could clearly see the shed key. People should really add velvet fingers to my list of nicknames. Hey, you know what? I guess I lost my phone in that pile of leaves.
You freaked me out with that damn vibration. I thought it was a mole attack.
Hey, not bad at all. Toilet in the same room as the bed? Interesting idea. And there was the reason for my raid. That glow stick was too appealing to leave it where it was. Fortunately, it was retractable, so I managed to put it in my coat. I didn't want to rummage through that man's fridge. Who knows what kind of crap I'll find inside? The toilet seat was up. That was enough to know that no woman had been there for months. Pebbles and dust, nothing more. The boxes were stacked in no particular order. I didn't know what they contained, and I couldn't be bothered finding out. Flea-bitten, creased, beaten up, old, smelly. The only adjective that didn't apply there was inviting. I'd have picked up the sprayer if it didn't contain a strange and probably toxic greenish liquid. I don't know why, but I've always had a passion for vaporizers. That rope might have been useful if it wasn't rotten from its first to last fiber. The shears were inviting, but I would have felt like a worm depriving the gardener of his best tool. Who am I kidding? I didn't steal them only because they were all rusty. Grope a statue made of grass? Why not? A nice way to air out the room on hotter days. Better stay away from it. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't see a good reason to do that. Better in that moment, another one of the gardeners, that flamingo. They contained grain and animal feed. I was fond of that feed. It tasted like ham. No matter how hard I... About the ingredients I have to find.
Why do I pay you if I have to do your job for you?
That's not a problem since you don't pay me at all, cheapskate.
Dwarf,
Tightwad,
insect,
skinflint,
dachshund,
piker.
garden gnome.
I've run out of synonyms.
I can go all day long, shrimp.
I'll go...
This
Once I found the ingredients, it would become my culinary kingdom. The only recipe I was interested in. Parmesan, a cheese of Italian origin. Before moving to America, I ate it by the ton. I had absolutely zero idea how Florida ginger was made. Establishing how long that stew... Was it really worth... Obviously, the fridge was empty. I had tried many times to recover that piece of Parmesan, to no avail. First of all, it was too high. Sometime. Let's make.
Sí.
No matter how hard I tried. The dog bowl displayed it was clearly a male specimen. At least they didn't force you to wear a polka dot skirt. The door was. I didn't want to rummage through that man's fridge. Who knows what kind of crap I'll. Hello.
Hi, Lars.
I need a quick search.
Of course. Do you need information on Eric Mulzberg? Or maybe his daughter?
Nah, much better than that. I need to know what Florida ginger looks like to prepare some meatballs.
Your investigative methods are even more bizarre than I thought.
I never back down from even the most absurd challenge.
Give me a second. Here you are. You should look for a little plant with wide leaves and red flowers. They look like small artichokes if you examine them closely.
Mm-hmm. Little plant, red leaves, shaped like artichokes. Got it.
If you want to obtain its spice, you'll have to gently extract the root.
Excellent. You just saved me half a day of investigation. We'll catch up later, Alice.
Keep me posted.
Judging by the description I had, that surely had to be the Florida ginger. Delicately, I extracted the root. By grating it, I'd be able to obtain the spice I needed. Parmesan, a cheese of Italian origin. Before moving to America, I ate it by the ton. Hello, good man.
Yes?
Stick around. Maybe. The window was... I was all out of... Was it really worth... A chain can always... For example, to lock someone's butt... No matter how hard I tried. Sometimes, I thought it was better. It was one of those... Maybe. Or maybe not. No matter how hard I tried. Sometimes, I was all out. Another one of the gardeners. That flamingo was really well done. Being very careful, I believed I would be able to grab that piece of Parmesan. I had collected all the necessary ingredients for my brief excursion into the culinary world. Now, I could start the actual preparation. My sous chef table was waiting for me. Let's do that. And now, salt and pepper. Now, I just have to follow the recipe step by step. I had to follow the recipe precisely. A non-stick. I had to follow a non-stick. I had to a non-stick. I'd be starting my culinary career by mincing meat for dogs. I put the meat back in the can, ready to be used. I must admit that it emitted an inviting aroma. The meat was ready to be prepared. The grater was ideal for, well, grating. Let's start with seasoning. I helped to crack open the egg without breaking it. I've always been really bad in the kitchen. At that point, I turned the griddle on to start cooking. I'd extract the spice from the root using that grater. I had to follow the recipe precisely. And now, the final touch. Finally, after a half day of unpaid hard work, our incredible Chef Lazarus had completed his little culinary masterpiece. Now that I think about it, it still seems crazy to interrupt an investigation just to make some meatballs. But part of the reason I'm famous is because I never back down from a challenge. Yeah, not bad for a beginner. Here's your meatball, Chef.
I'd given up hope, damn. And you took only half the day to prepare them. Maybe I underestimated you, lightweight. Let's see what you did. Hell, it's formidable. I meant passable, that is.
I told you there was a real cook hiding deep inside me. I just had to spread my wings and fly. Can I take a heart now?
Suit yourself. I'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight, and be on time.
Like a Swiss watch. I had finished in there, and I'd probably never touch another stove again in my life. Just a minute. Lazarus Bundy!
What the?
Now I could finally leave. I didn't. In that moment. Maybe. I didn't. I thought I could tie some clothes to the radiator, creating a handmade rope that might lower me from the window, and the tycoon's room was directly underneath. A risky plan indeed. On the other side, I had walked across a wooden board suspended in midair the previous day, and I like to be consistent. I just had to take some more clothes downstairs. I couldn't get off the ledge yet. I still needed to add a touch of authenticity to my story. I needed a curse to utter. I didn't understand. I couldn't get off. Was it really worth? I thought it was better to look for another solution. I never had to in that moment, it didn't. Maybe, or maybe not. Sometimes, the cart contained... I thought it was better to... Maybe. Sometimes, my obsession with using random items didn't lead anywhere. In that moment, no matter how hard I never had to poke, and I thought it was better. I couldn't get off the ledge yet. If I had thrown the heart from the door, she would have surely seen me. I needed a less obvious place for stalking. I thought it was better to... Was it really worth it? Archbishop Mulzberg da Molina. Judging by his size, I imagine that he loved ham more than God. And there was more. It seemed that his love for food was second only to his lust for women. He even forged a motto about it. The love of the Lord must be experienced in every form to be truly grasped. This obsession of his, together with his size, caused him to die of heart failure at a not very advanced age. I recalled the story told by the maid. Was this Molina perhaps the inspiration for Kathrin's prank? Well, the broken heart didn't match. I had just discovered the words the kid had used to scare the maid to death. With what I had with me, I was sure I could scare Lupe to death. I held my breath. Don't look down, Lars. Don't look down. It was time to terrorize that poor woman beyond all limits.
My God, who's there?
You know who I am, woman.
Archbishop Molina?
As God be my witness, verily it is me. My imitation of medieval language is pitiful, but I never bothered taking a course.
But por qué you have come to me?
Thy beauty beckoned me back to this vivid land, and to its call I shan't resist.
But you are a ghost, and yo soy alive.
Ooh, we can easily remedy that, can't we? She was totally spooked. If the words had opened a crack, the bloody heart would kick the door down. The woman took off like a race car at the green light. Well, at that point, I had to find something. I had to find it fast before she could call for help. Eric Mulzberg wanted to keep me out of his room at all costs, so it had to be hiding something. I sensed immediately, thanks to that irrational sixth sense that always assisted me at crime scenes, that something was hidden in that desk. Nothing happened. Books on oil drilling. High literature. With the light on, I saw a little engraving in a corner of the desk. The engraving seemed to resemble the shape of the desk, but every row of drawers was marked by a musical key and a series of Roman numerals. I remembered seeing the sheet music previously on Catherine's piano. What if the musical references were connected somehow? Books on oil drilling. High literature. I had to brush away my doubts, not the floor. The bed was made, and it didn't seem to hide anything peculiar. There wasn't anything under there, not even dust. Cleanliness of that house was unnerving. There were mainly books on shipyard management, the economy, the oil market. Their titles alone made me yawn. The house owner's educational qualifications. Too specialized to be fond of him. Soapy water in a bucket. Oh, the smell it exuded made me cry. Nothing interesting in there. The engraving I found on Mulzberg's desk contained a musical reference that seemed to match those on the sheet music. I realized that the two clues were connected. The sheet music was the key that would let me unravel the secrets hidden in that desk. I remembered Mulzberg's words when he confessed to me that he knew nothing about music. Thankfully, because I was a disaster too. The sheet music, therefore, had to conceal a code not strictly connected to music. The musical notes must have to be interpreted another way. Ruling out the two erased lines of the pentagram, 3 remained, each marked by a different musical key. Were the notes on the sheet music a reference to the drawers of the desk? I also noticed something written on top. Allegro aperto. In music, that means something like cheerful open. The engraving seemed to resemble the shape of the desk, but every row of drawers was marked by a musical key and a series of Roman numerals. I knew that desk was hiding something. With my hands shaking with emotion, I grabbed the folder. I was prepared for anything, but what I found on that paper left me speechless.
What do you think you're doing in my room? Who let you enter?
Normally, I'd have a pair of sarcastic answers for you, but right now, I've completely lost my sense of humor. How do you explain this?
This is an abuse of power! You snuck in here and rummaged through my private documents without a warrant.
You keep on dodging the questions that really matter, Mr. I have a broken heart. Please bring my daughter back. Your daughter was pregnant, and you knew that. And on top of that, you concealed the documents that proved it. I don't know if it's clear enough, but this makes you the prime suspect on my list. Who's the father? The guy in the picture I showed you? Answer me, goddammit!
Enough! Leave this residence immediately and never come back. And I assure you, you'll be hearing from me very soon.
I could say the same thing. So young Kathrin was pregnant at the time of the kidnapping. Was it possible that was the motive? And what was her father's role in the whole story? Had he hidden the medical records to preserve his daughter's dignity? Or to hide a motive that would have been a red flag for the authorities? Night had fallen by then. Initially, I thought of going straight to bed and falling asleep. Then, I was suddenly struck by a brilliant idea.
We're switching over to local news now, where we direct your attention to a curious case that happened today in West Miami. The well-known Chef Tony was arrested after many clients in his restaurant began showing worrying physical symptoms. The police report has identified the cause of the patron's collective discomfort as some meatballs, apparently prepared using dog meat. The chef defended himself, claiming he had given instructions for the making of the dish to an elusive sous chef, of whom no traces can now be found. What can we say? If it's a pet-friendly local establishment you're looking for, Tony's restaurant could really be your thing.
Yeah. Absolute number one, intern.
Isn't that because you're playing against yourself, Mr. Number One?
If someone had tried socializing rather than carrying around her job, we would not still be here arguing about it. So at the current state of things, I am the undisputed number one, and that's that.
In the meantime, your someone might have found something by analyzing the picture that was slipped under your door. I couldn't find any information on the man in the company of Kathrin Mulzberg, but the logo visible on the building gave me a lead to follow. It's a decommissioned factory belonging to a company called Fallen Rose, for which I've written the address down. Unfortunately, there was no way to...
Yes, all right. It's all very compelling. But we'll think about the factory tomorrow. Now put down that infernal device and let me see what you've got.
You really had it coming, small-time detective. What do you think about that?
That was beginner's luck.
And this?
That was clearly a foul. He's waiting for me.
Mr. Bundy, I was just looking for you.
Am I late with the rent?
The rent is the least of your problems right now. There are people, Mr. Bundy, who find your investigation really bothersome.
You were sent by Mulzberg, weren't you? The worm thinks he can scare me with his two-bit intimidation tactics, but I have absolutely no intention of stopping. I'll bring the truth to the light, even if a whole empire has to fall because of it.
That's all I need to know.
Wait! I don't need your fake warnings. Now get out of my way.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Wait! I'm listening.
Cooperate, and maybe there will be no unpleasant consequences. Many influential forces are at work in this story, Mr. Bundy.
Are you talking about Mulzberg? Did he send you?
No names. Keep your curiosity under control for your own good.
If you want my cooperation, you gotta give me something in exchange.
I could give you much more than you think, if you answer properly.
Not good enough. Tell me who sent you. Now.
Okay, Bundy. You win.
Wait! I'm listening. What forces are you talking about precisely?
You'd be surprised to find out. However, you'll never learn anything about it.
I've worked my whole life to expose the truth, and you won't be the one to stop me.
A praiseworthy, but still stupid choice.
Wait! I'm listening.
Many
Take the bait. What do these forces at work want from me?
that you don't try to push beyond your capabilities. That you accept your place as an insignificant exile and spend the rest of your life in the shadows. You have a choice to make, Bundy. Choose wisely.
I have worked very hard to get to this point. I can't quit the case. Kathrin's life is at stake.
A praiseworthy and daring choice, but wrong.
Wait! I'm listening.
What?
I'll take
That you have a
Okay, I quit the case. Really, it's not a matter that concerns me. I'm sorry for the girl, but in the end, these things happen. The important thing is that they don't happen to yourself.
You just made the best choice of your life. Oh, Bundy. Just some advice. Let this be our last meeting.
The guy had been clear and explicit. I could be sure that if I didn't comply with his demand for answers, he'd kill me without giving it a second thought. My rational sides urged me to really let it go. Goodbye case, goodbye challenge, goodbye unsolved mysteries, and goodbye Kathrin. But no, I couldn't leave that girl to her destiny. Her father did something horrible to her. He had hidden the truth from the world, maybe even going so far as having his own flesh and blood kidnapped or even killed. No way I'll give up. I am up against the wall.